News Talk 94.3, 95.5. You don't have to live in Paducah very long before you start figuring out that it played a role in the Civil War. I mean, look at the name of the high school, and then a few blocks over, there's a museum dedicated to General Tillman. So there's a lot of history with the Civil War here. In fact, one of the flood wall murals, you can see that out. Well, a guy put this together in a book, John Cashon, Paducah and the Civil War. Now, how did you get so interested in this enough to write a book?
Oh, when I was younger, my dad was always a big storyteller, and he always told me the history of Paducah, and he always got me interested in it. And it was one of the big factors of why I went to Murray State to get a degree in history. And I always just loved the story, and I always said one day I'm going to put it together.
So, ballpark me here. I want to sell books here, but
Okay.
Ballpark it for me. How big was Paducah in the Civil War? Was it a major part, or
In my opinion, I think it's one of the most important places in the entire war. If Grant had not landed in Paducah after the Confederates took Hickman and Columbus, the war would have been entirely different. It could have been entirely different. But by taking Paducah, that allowed him to have access to the rivers, and the rivers, the Cumberland and the Tennessee, ended up being highways going straight to the south.
It's a transportation mode of supply that's crucial in any sort of war.
And it is the supply line. And when you have gunboats, it makes it a little easier. And the Tennessee goes all the way to Chattanooga. So this is a big, a long supply line that they can cover.
So in the day, we had gunboats here, we had troops. This was a major area for this.
We had major players here. Lew Wallace was a general here in Paducah, and he was the man who wrote Ben-Hur, the classic movie that just came out.
Really?
And he was stationed here in Paducah.
They did just reboot Ben-Hur, that's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we had General Grant, of course, and we have really neat stories, local people that lived here that went to the war for one side or the other. And we also have really good stories that happened throughout the war that I talk about in my book.
Well, not very far from where we sit out here in the greater Hendron metropolitan area, there's a historical marker just off the road here where there's a General Nathan Bedford Forrest bivouac out there. The little places are everywhere here.
Exactly. In fact, in my book, I talk about after the Battle of Paducah, the day after, they stopped in the Hendron area. And that at a man's house there.
So you have the story of that here in this book.
Yes, I do.
Where can an ordinary Joe like myself get my hands on Paducah and the Civil War?
Well, you can get them all over. They're on Amazon. We're going to be selling them here in Paducah at different retailers.
Okay.
But Walmart.com, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, they're all available.
It'd be a great book, for your own library. It would make a lovely gift, especially if you know somebody that lives here, lived here, and has gone on to somewhere else. Like my sister in Louisville, for instance, would love this book. So you can pick this up, John Cashon. So you've gone authory on me here. John Philip Cashon on the front.
My father was John Jerome Cashon, so I always keep my middle name in.
All right. And you grew up here as well.
Yes, I did. I went to Paducah Tillman, graduated in '85, and I have many friends here in Paducah. And it's one of my favorite towns in the world. I just do anything I can for it. I just love it.
The book is called Paducah and the Civil War. I think you've done quite a bit here with it. And we look forward to getting into this. And can I keep this?
Yeah.
Great. I can't wait to read this. So I love history, especially like local history. And I think you've done a fantastic job with this.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. The book's available in retailers. You can find it on Amazon. Is there a Kindle version?
There will be, yes.
Get to stepping on that.
Yes.
John Cashon, Paducah and the Civil War. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
No problem.